Now for our first presentation of the evening, the Michael G. Devine Hall of Fame Award. Please welcome to the stage Matt Schwartz of Pillsbury, one of tonight's gold sponsors, NVTC President and CEO Bobby Kilberg, and Mike Devine, for whom the award is named. You're welcome. Thank you.
Each year, the Michael G. Devine Award salutes an extraordinary leader. Each year, the Michael G. Devine Award salutes an extraordinary leader whose contributions have made a significant and unique impact on the National Capital Region's technology business community during the course of her or his career. Tonight, with heavy hearts, we honor and remember two individuals who left an enormous impact on our community, but whose lives and careers were much shorter than they deserved. Our first honoree tonight is Harry Weller, who was general partner at NEA, managing NEA's East Coast tech practice for many years. I'd like to invite Harry's wife, Rachel, to please join us on stage. Harry was a renowned technology investor, champion of innovation, and partner to entrepreneurs. He was passionate about this region and the companies it produces. Harry played an integral role in fostering and evolving the venture capital industry, building great companies and mentoring founders. Throughout his career, he always made time to help others grow and to foster the industry he loved so much. A former Navy pilot, Harry earned a degree in physics from Duke and was pursuing a doctorate in physics from the University of Maryland when he passed. Last year at this very event, NVTC recognized Harry with the Financier of the Year award in recognition of his leadership in attracting capital and spurring innovation in our local technology community. Matt.
Thank you, Bobby. Harry Weller was a physicist who had his own gravitational force. He was a husband, a father, a physicist, a pilot, and an investor. In his investing, he showed a preternatural vision of the future. So in addition to being the first outside capital invested in Groupon, he supported many of our region's biggest success stories, including Appian, WebMethods, SourceFire, OPower, Cvent, AddThis, Global Logic, Science Logic, and others. He saw value where others did not, and he was liked and admired by entrepreneurs. Harry was celebrated as one of America's top venture capitalists, named to the Forbes Midas list every year since 2007, a distinction shared by really just a very few investors. Harry Weller honored our community by the many years he dedicated to it. I had the good fortune to give him the Financier of the Year award last year, and in his acceptance speech, this national star stood right here on this stage and boasted about the greater Washington community and the remarkably talented people here. While we can only imagine what Harry would have accomplished in the decades to come had fate permitted him to do so, he had already accomplished so much. Tonight, we're honored to recognize Harry Weller's extraordinary impact on innovation, on our community, and on the many who knew and loved him. There's no one quite like him, and he will be missed. It is my honor to recognize Harry Weller with the Michael G. Devine Hall of Fame Award, which will be accepted in his honor by his wife, Rachel.
Thank you for recognizing Harry. You have to stop clapping or I'm going to cry. So I feel like Harry was just getting started. And last year at this event, he told you that this region's tech companies had the same quality as anything you see on the West Coast, just not the same quantity yet. He also referred to himself as a shy motherfucker, which I mention only so that I can say this word on stage once in my life. I was kind of shocked when he did it, but it was true. He is shy. What Harry said last year reminded me of a sort of moment 10 years or so ago when two of his East Coast colleagues at NEA, I was going to say they would remain nameless, but actually their names are John Sakota and Ravi Viswanathan, decamped for NEA West Coast. And Shortly thereafter, a friend set him up with a Menlo Park realtor to convince him that he should move west also. So he went along with it, but in fact, that's the worst thing you could do to someone from this area, because it turns out if you just take your house and plop it down in Silicon Valley, it's going to cost 3 times as much. So, but sort of in this moment of like, do you want to move? Harry came back and he told me, I like the East Coast. I like the deals here. I like their temperature. I like how they scale. I like the CEOs out here. And I'd have to be falling asleep at the wheel not to see everything good out here and be able to help. So that was that. He wanted to stay here. He loved it out here. And he sort of felt like, why would I move? So it's really nice to be with all of you tonight. Thank you for honoring him last year. Thank you for honoring him this year. And it gives me a chance to tell many of you in this room thank you, because I owe a lot of thank yous for cards, for food, for flowers, for reaching out to tell me stories about what Harry meant to you. It's going to mean a lot to my kids down the road. It means a lot to me now. Many of you donated to NEA's Harry Weller Big Idea Fund. I have yet to thank some of you for that. This also gives me a chance to thank Harry's mentors, Peter Barris and Jean Rickers, also his best friends, Scott Frederick and Thomas Kramer. They're all over here. His colleagues and friends, Kate Barrett, Dana Grayson, Justin Klein, and Ali. Also Suzanne King, who is really more than just a colleague and a friend, but was really someone he grew up in this industry with. And I'm going to throw a shout out to Peter Grayson, too, because he's the only person in this room besides me who cares about Wegener's granulomatosis. Harry would have been shorter than me. I'm sorry, but he also would have been pleased. So all of you, thanks for taking good care of the Weller clan and for honoring Harry tonight.
Before I begin, I'd like to invite Greg's wife, Kelly, and his family on stage to accept this award in his name. Well, I think it's fitting how many people are here to support Greg, and that his partners he considered his family. So to his family and to his partners of his family, thank you for sharing him with us for all of those years. I was privileged to call Greg Kuykendall a friend, as were so many of you. He was a great supporter of this event and the NVTC and the greater Washington business community. He served as chairman of this event 3 times and served with me for 10 years as co-chair of the NVTC CFO series. Any of us who knew Greg knew how much he loved the event we're enjoying tonight. I'm very sad that we aren't able to enjoy it with him anymore. Last year, I reminded you that after my years of lampooning accountants, it was Greg who finally returned fire with his own lawyer jokes. Greg was one of the most respected professionals in this area, but he was also a lot of fun to be around. To me, he had these remarkable contradictions that I think really only Greg could pull off. He was both gentle and authoritative, funny and expert, unruffled and driven. A number of Greg's friends and colleagues shared their thoughts about him. They shared their experience that Greg was the ultimate team player. Professionally, Greg was the consummate advisor in difficult situations. He shifted into another gear when there were difficult problems. He would just persist and make it work. He never blamed or worried about how the situation could impact him. His concern was his team, his people, and how to make things right. Greg was the exact person that you would want on your side when things were challenging. He was best under pressure. Outside of the office, Greg was the same. For the golfers in the room, I understand that many of you had the pleasure of playing golf with Greg, and were lucky enough, some of you even, to have him as a partner in tournaments. He loved the competition, he never focused on bad shots, and he was never fazed by the pressure. He was a back 9 player, and he had a way of making big shots at critical times. We won or lost as a team. He was a very positive and upbeat person, but he was never happier than with Kelly and his new family. He was a lucky man to find Kelly and her family, and he knew it and made us all aware of it. He went from being a 40-something single guy to being a loving husband and a loving and nurturing father of 4 and an engaged relative to Kelly's extended family. Greg was transformed by this experience. You could say that he was all in. He deeply loved his family. Greg always felt like a teammate to me. I really liked him and I really admired him. And I know I speak for all of us when I say to Greg, we miss you. In recognition of his contributions to the NVTC, the CFO Awards, the CFO Series, and our entire technology business community, it is my honor to recognize Greg Kuykendall with the Michael G. Devine Hall of Fame Award. I'd like to invite Greg's wife, Kelly, to take the award in his honor.
Well, unlike Harry's wife, I'm not prepared. But that's kind of how Greg and I worked well together. He was very prepared. I was kind of fly by the seat of my pants. I just want to say thank you on behalf of the Kuykendall family. Greg was everything and then some. And Greg and I actually grew up together in the same neighborhood in a small town from here, a couple hours. He married into quite the family. Callie's our newest child. Can you say hi? Anyway, Greg was a humble, wonderful, kind, the most loving, supportive person you could ever ask for in your life. He loved this organization. He was very committed. And I asked all of his partners to come up here with me because I'm not sure that he would have probably made it this far without their love and support. So anyone that wants to say anything is welcome to. Mike, yeah. Greg's mom, right here in the pink, Betty. Greg's dad, Bill. Our son, Matthew. Greg's aunt, Barbara. I don't have anything planned. I just want to say thank you. I mean, Mike Devine was one of Greg's best and most trusted friends. It seems really appropriate and really special that that's the award that he's receiving tonight. And if any E and Y people want to come behind me, please feel free. Thank you.